Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to bring you the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So we're going to take a look at the results of TNA Final Resolution and recap in full WWE SmackDown and AEW Rampage. No collision, because Saturday I had some plans. Went through with those plans, and now I am here. Hopefully you stick around through it, and until then, let's get into it. So first off, we're going to talk about the results for TNA's Final Resolution. We have Moose successfully defending his X Division title against Kushida. I know a lot of people have issue with Moose as X Division champion. I really don't. The Rascals, that's Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, beat Jake Something, PCO, and Sami Callihan by pinfall. Jake Something was supposed to team with Hammerstone, but he was medically not cleared to compete. So he went it alone, which is interesting. Ace Austin beats Trent Seven one-on-one. Jordan Grace and Rosemary's match ended in a no contest thanks to the returning Tessa Blanchard. And if you've seen on my Twitter account, I'm not a very big fan of this. Not going to go into why, but if you see on Twitter, you'll see why. Joe Hendry beat Josh Alexander, Mike Santana, and Steve Macklin for a future shot at the TNA World title. Masha Slamovich successfully defended her Knockouts title against Tasha Steele in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, defeat The System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, in a tables match to successfully defend their tag team titles. And Nick Nemeth beat AJ Francis for the TNA World title. So, that was the results for No Surrender. No Surrender? Turning Point? Final Resolution. I knew it was one of those. And, yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag for that show. And now we go into a full recap of WWE SmackDown and AEW Rampage. So SmackDown starts very interestingly with Jimmy Uso. And he comes out, he's on one crutch. Comes out, crowd starts yeeting. Says, yeah, wrong Twinners. War Games was lit. I didn't get Jim. But it got my big toe. War Games meant everything to me. With a bunch of family we don't like, but we bounced back. The OGs came out on top. And in front of us, for years I've watched my family dominate. I live this every day. I've watched Roman dominate. Watched Jay become one of the hottest stars today. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of Solo too. It's not like I like him, but I'm proud of him. And everyone asking me, what's next? What are you going to do? I really don't know. But I want you to ride along with me. I want to win the Rumble. I want to go after the US title. Hell, if I showed a little higher, I could go after the WWE title. And nothing is going to stop me. And Jimmy showed up tonight on his own. No other Bloodline members. And the new year is coming for me. As he's starting to leave the ring, he eats a Claymore from Drew McIntyre, who's waiting God only knows how long to unleash that. Drew then gets right on top of Jimmy Uso and just starts wailing on him. Officials then come out to stop it. Yeah, definitely an interesting opening segment. Wonder where... It does seem like Drew is going to be taking out members of the OG bloodline, which, yeah, I'm all for that. Keeping him on top. Jimmy Uso as U.S. champ. I could honestly see that. Then we see Tiffany Stratton. She's getting ready in the back for her match. In walks Nia Jax. Asks, "You ready to go?" Tiffany says, "Yeah, I'm ready to win for sure." Nia then replies, "I'm sure you're going to blow us all away. And we'll be watching," as Candice LeRae walks in. And doesn't really say anything, but we're going to hear from her a little later. Then we see the continuation of the opening segment as Drew McIntyre and Nick Aldis, they're walking around in the back, with Aldis pretty much screaming at Drew, saying, "I don't want to deal with this. You're nothing than a giant headache," etc., etc. They're about to walk into his office. In walks Bianca Belair and Naomi, with Bianca asking Nick, "Is this a bad time?" So Nick sends Drew McIntyre into his office. Bianca asks about the Jade Cargill investigation. Aldis says, "Yes, investigation is ongoing, but we are in an awkward position as you don't have a partner, so you're going to have to relinquish the titles." So Aldis tries to legitimately take Bianca's tag team title. Naomi chimes up saying, "If she really needs a partner, I can step up. We've done this before." Bianca says, "Yeah, it's clear. Naomi is at my back through thick and thin. Can we do this?" Nick Aldis does agree, but he adds on, "If you're going to do this, you've got to be fighting champions." So defended weekly. So definitely an interesting situation. It does seem like the Jade Cargill injury is legit. Unless they're going to save her for the Rumble return, in which it'll be revealed that Naomi and Bianca did this together, which, I don't know, could be something. Then we have our first matchup of the night, and oh boy, took a little long to get there, but here we are, as it's the first of two semi-final matches to see who goes on to Saturday night's main event for the United States Women's title. So we have Tiffany Stratton taking on Mia Yim. And I gotta say, this felt like it was all done in fast forward. A couple of times, Tiffany Stratton blocked Eat Defeat. Goes for an Alabama Slam that gets countered right into a tarantula hold, in which, that was very impressive by Mia Yim. That's pretty much automatically in the ropes. Tiffany with a big old Alabama Slam for a 2 count. One point, Tiffany gets pushed off the top rope. Mia with a big rolling senton. Hits Stratton attempts the prettiest moonsault ever. Kinda gets it, but only hits Mia Yim's arm. Immediately gets up, hits Eat Defeat for the win for Mia Yim. I'd say that was definitely the right call. I like Mia Yim. I know she gets a little flack on the socials, but I'm glad she's getting this opportunity. Although I feel like this match was cut for time. Like, cut down for time. Like I said, it felt like they did this match in, like, fast forward. Then we see a recap of last week's tag team title match between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, with DIY turning heel. We then get a black and white DIY promo backstage with Ciampa starting off. August 2nd should have been the night of our lives. We got screwed out of the titles in front of everyone. I was so embarrassed, but I soldiered on, and I said I would do whatever it takes to get the titles back. Then the Guns, they had their debut, and they took our spot. And while everyone else was looking left, we turned to right. Johnny Gargano then finally gets some time, saying, "It was good to see Shelley again, but you came at the wrong moment. On better days, we're the best team in the world. We are DIY." So definitely an intense promo. It does look like the Guns and DIY are going to be feuding for a little bit longer, which I am totally for. These two guys could fight for the allotted time necessary, and I will not be bored. Then we see a Roman Reigns kind of video promo. Looks like he and Paul Heyman are on the side of the road somewhere. It looks very, very strange. Anyway, so Roman starts off saying, "It's been a tough year. Not long ago, we ran WWE, but that all fell apart. I lost the title, I lost my wise man, and I lost my bloodline. But most importantly, I lost my Ula Fala. And 4 years ago, Solo, you weren't even here. I didn't take the Ula Fala, I earned it. I was the man to lead the family, and the only thing that matters is getting that Ula Fala back." So January 6th, it's all about tribal combat. Tribal Chief versus Tribal Chief. On January 6th, I take back the bloodline. Oh. Take back the bloodline, the Ula Fala, and my respect. And the whole world would have no choice but to acknowledge me. Oh my God, that was Roman's best promo in a good couple years. Because all we've really heard from him is, "Acknowledge me." And then someone interrupts. You forget how good Roman can be, and how good this tribal chief character really is. And this nice little setup for January 6th, aka the Raw Netflix debut, it's definitely a really good place to start. Gets me excited for that. Then we see Los and LFI. LGI? Oh, no, LGF. That's what they are. They're in the back. They're talking to Aldis, with Santos saying, "Oh, you're always playing favorites, and I'm sick of it. What kind of place are you running? We'd be better off with what's his name? Pierce." So they walk off. Carmelo Hayes walks in. And he says to Aldis, "I'm all hyped for this light work." Aldis replies, "You think this is going to be light work? Just you wait." So then we go right into Carmelo Hayes' entrance. He has a mystery opponent coming out. And who is it? It's the monster among men, Braun Strowman. And I know a lot of people have issue with this. They thought, oh, it's going to be Penta. And while that would be nice, I'm happy to see Braun Strowman here. And maybe doing his own thing, because I think a lot of people had him join the Wyatt Six. So he can be his own man here on SmackDown, and the Wyatts can be over on Raw doing their thing. And, Hayes did get some offense in. This was pretty much a squash match with Hayes going for a crossbody, Braun Strowman catching him in midair, hitting a gigantic power slam to win the match. That was a very cool sequence. I am more than happy to see Strowman back. And I'm going to say this. A lot of people online are saying, Carmelo Hayes is buried. But kid's still very, very young. He's going to get there eventually. Like, I think, personally, he should be the one to dethrone Cody Rhodes. Although, I have said it should be Jacob Fatu. But Carmelo Hayes is one of the most underrated wrestlers on the roster. And I do think one day he's going to make it. He's going to make it to the top. Then we go backstage to an LA Knight interview, saying, one thing I've done is handled my business. I'm not going to get involved in the bloodline. That's not in my business. I'm only worried about gold. No love for Roman, no love for Solo. The only person worth it is Jay. Which, that's interesting. So, yeah, definitely. I'm going to say this. I'd like to see a Jey Uso LA Knight alliance. Maybe not a feud, but an alliance I think would be really, really cool. We then get a promo from Solo Sikoa. I do believe it was pre-shot. No, it was in the ring, actually. With Solo starting with the acknowledge me stuff. Then he says, Roman Reigns. Before he can get another word out comes his opponent for the evening, LA Knight. And it definitely starts off really, really well. Solo definitely feels like he belongs in the ring a bit. And this was definitely brutal on both sides. Throwing each other into the announce table. LA Knight off of a bulldog. That was awesome. Then as LA Knight was going for a dive on Solo on the outside, Tama Tonga pushes him out of the way and eats the dive. Solo then hits a spinning Solo right into the announce table, in which, ouch. Gets him back in the ring, goes for a Superman punch, whiffs. Knight with a suplex into a bunch of strikes. Goes for the BFT. That gets blocked as Solo rolls to the outside. LA Knight then fights off the bloodline for a little bit before getting back in. Solo with a super kick, a Samoan spike, but that got blocked into a side effect. Knight with an elbow drop, only for a 2 count. Then as he's setting up for the BFT, Jacob Fatu grabs LA Knight, attacks him from behind, and the match actually gets thrown out. So beatdown of all of the Bloodline members continues on. Samoan spike to Knight. More of a beatdown. Then out comes a very interesting combination. It's Andrade and Apollo Crews, who we haven't seen in a while. They make the save, but Bloodline numbers are too great. Solo with a bunch of Samoan spikes to have the New Blood standing tall. So, it does look like the New Bloodline is here sticking around, and I'm okay with that. Then we see Braun Strowman. He's got like a towel around his neck. He's walking in the back and he runs into Pretty Deadly, who tell him he's the perfect amount of hideous for our new stage show. It's good stuff. They give him a pamphlet, and they're like, okay, nope, no pressure. We'll see ya. So Strowman walks up right into the interviewer, and before he can say a word, in comes A-Town Down Under, where Grayson Waller invites him to the Grayson Waller effect. And it looks like Strowman's about to reject them. Then he stops, and he says, alright guys, I'll see you guys next week. That is definitely not going to be a normal Grayson Waller effect. Someone is going to get power slammed through that table. Alright, next match up, we got Bayley taking on Chelsea Green to see who faces Mia Yim at Saturday night's main event for the Women's U.S. title. And immediately Bayley hits a Bayley to belly, but only gets a 2 count. Chelsea Green is pretty much playing avoidance for the first little bit of the match, including running Bayley right into Piper Niven. This definitely felt like Bayley dominating a little bit until Chelsea Green blocks a Bayley to Bayley for a roll-up, only for 2. Green then hits the Rough Rider, only gets 2. Goes for the Unpretty Her, but that gets countered into a zigzag-like move. I'm not even sure what it was. Bayley then goes up for an elbow drop, but Piper Niven grabs Chelsea Green, pulls her out of the ring. Then Bayley hits an elbow drop on Piper Niven, tosses her over the barricade. Green then tosses Bayley over the barricade. Green gets back in the ring. Bayley ultimately beats the 10 count. However, runs right into an Unpretty Her for the win for Chelsea Green. This, again, was absolutely the right call. And, we have our final set for the U.S. Women's title, which I will be reviewing tomorrow on the channel, covering Saturday night's main event. Then we get a nice little Motor City Machine Guns promo where they say, we came to WWE to make a statement. Obviously, we've rustled some feathers with the Street Profits and DIY. And then after 18 years, one super kick, my friendship with Johnny Gargano is all gone. But I get it. The tag titles are the most important on the planet. Next week, we see why I'm the teacher and you're the student. Oh, them's some fighting words. I like it. Like it a lot. We then get a Shinsuke Nakamura video promo / vignette with closed captions on because they're allowing him to talk in his native tongue, which is awesome. And, we'll see where this feud with Knight, Andrade, and Solo goes with him. So, we'll see. We then get Tiffany Stratton. She's walking around the back. She's very distraught. Runs into Nia Jax saying, it's a rough night. It happens. But perk up. Tiffany, you went out there and did your best. Then in walks Candice LeRae saying, Nia, I got some great news. I got us a tag team title match for next week. Nia then says, oh, that's great. With Candice then continuing, maybe you guys just need your space. And while Tiffany couldn't bring gold to the group, Nia, you can have 2 titles. Nia's like, oh, that's awesome. Nia then walks off. Candice then sticks around a little, saying, maybe you just need a little space. And then follows Nia, with Tiffany standing there, holding her Money in the Bank case. We need to cash in, sooner rather than later. It's time. And heck, why not next week? So now we get a Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens sit-down interview in the ring, which I am surprised by. Michael Cole introduces Cody first. He comes out, all poppin' circumstances. Then it's Michael Cole announces Kevin Owens. He doesn't come out. So Cody Rhodes gets on the microphone and says, alright, it's clear Kevin Owens isn't here. I am. So let's do this as professionally as possible. And no, we don't have to go to the car, Michael. I love that. Before the Michael Cole then asks Cody Rhodes about what Triple H gave to him as a one-off for Saturday night's main event. Cody's kind of playing coy. He can't really say right now. Then as that happens, we hear, oh my goodness, who the heck cares? As Kevin Owens comes up on the screen, he's in his car. And then he continues, it's time, Cole, it's time for you to ask Cody real questions. Like, how can Cody be okay using his friends to finish his story and then team up with Roman Reigns? And Cody, you gotta be honest. It's because you're a bad friend, son, and brother. And truth will always be, you were way more interesting as Stardust. Oh my god. Cody Rhodes then stops him, saying, I'm sure he has a lot more zingers for me like that, but why wait for him to come out here? I'm going to go get Owens right now. So Cody drops the microphone, gets out of the ring, goes right in the back. And it doesn't take him long to find Kevin Owens, and they brawl. And they pretty much brawl right back into the arena, right back into the crowd. Security comes out on the ramp, tries to break it up. Owens fights them off. He continues his brawl with Cody. Security backs them off again. They're both in the ring. Cody then fights off security, fights right to Kevin Owens, gives him a good couple of shots. They break him back up. Cody goes back on the attack. And then somehow Kevin Owens ends up with the WWE title. It's a big kick right to Kevin Owens. And then the belt shot to end the show. Definitely a bit of a mixed bag from the WWE. I do understand that this was the go-home for Saturday night's main event. I feel like they could have made the matches mean a little bit more. That's kind of my only real note. So that is that. We then finish up with a little AEW Rampage. We go to a match that was made right on AEW Dynamite. So we got Brian Keith taking on Matt Cardona. And if you don't know who Matt Cardona is, he's Long Island's own Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. And this was honestly a really, really fun matchup. You had Brian Keith in more of his power game, while Cardona was more into the finesse side. One point you had Brian Keith going to unleash a pile driver. Cardona blocks it. Wraps him up in a straitjacket, only for a 2 count. Keith tries for a roll-up. That gets blocked. And then Cardona, with some radio silence, to pick up the win. And then Cardona has a little stare down with Chris Jericho, who's sitting on commentary. I kind of like what they're doing with Cardona. He's definitely deserved a shot like this for a long time now. And, yeah, hopefully he sticks around for a little bit. Next up, we have the in-ring return of Toni Storm, as she's taking on Harley Cameron. And I know I've seen a little discourse, oh, why do you have this on Rampage? Why can't it be on Dynamite? Y'all wanted Rampage to be more important. Here we are. All you gotta do is tune in. And this match was... I mean, it was what it was. It wasn't super technical or anything. But, Harley Cameron busting out a Shining Wizard. That's a crazy move. Toni Storm with a Sky High, only for a 2. Got her with the hip attack, the Storm Zero, to pick up the win. So again, a short but sweet little matchup. Harley is getting way better than where she's been. Definitely looks really, really solid out there. We then get a video recap of the Continental Classic, in which whoever's doing these video recaps or these vignettes for the superstars, you're doing an awesome job. You deserve a raise. Anyway, next up we got Deonna Purrazzo taking on Shazza McKenzie. McKenzie has actually been a part of Ring of Honor, which is crazy to think about. And this was pretty much the Deonna Purrazzo show. McKenzie did get some stuff in, but ultimately she fell to the powerbomb armbar combination for the win for Purrazzo. So, decent little extended squash match. Hopefully McKenzie gets some more time on TV after this, because I feel like she made a little bit of an impact. Then we go backstage for an interview with Chris Statlander, saying, I haven't stopped thinking about my match with Monet at Full Gear, because Monet won't stop talking about it. I did come out of the match a little bit beat up, but I always move forward. I'm going to wrestle whoever I want, whenever I want. But I've got unfinished business with the TBS title. So, yeah, Statlander definitely sticking with the TBS title level, which I think is fine. Then we get an in-ring interview turned promo from the Don Callis family, with Don Callis pretty much taking the lead, saying, I'm in the getting over making money business. I got the best team in AEW in my family. And we're going to remind everyone who that though he's the best wrestler ever, until Ospreay shared the ring with Fletcher, Kyle Fletcher then takes the microphone, says, Will, as your home, I got one question. How does it feel? It gets better. I did the impossible and I beat Okada at the C2. How does it feel, bitch? Fletcher continues, I'm going to be the winner of the Continental Classic. Tomorrow night, Mark, you should bring everything you can. Winning is my destiny, and no one is going to get in the way of my destiny. Don Callis then takes the microphone back, says, my family is the 1%ers of AEW, and no one is big or bad enough to get in the ring with us. This brings out their opponents for tonight's main event, as it's Powerhouse Hobbs and Mark Davis, as they take on Konosuke Takeshita and who else is it? And Lance Archer. So, little bit thrown together tag team match, but boy oh boy, did they bring a hoss fight. Like, this was pretty much two teams of meat slamming into one another. It was pretty darn good. With Takeshita countering a big spine buster from Hobbs. Goes for the power drive knee. With Hobbs and Takeshita down, they tag in their partners. Just hitting each other with clotheslines. 1 point, Archer goes for the superplex. But that gets blocked. Takeshita then gets in there, tries for another superplex. That gets blocked again. Hobbs comes in, grabs pretty much everyone. Tower of Doom style. That was great. Hobbs then gets tagged in, runs house for a little while. Takeshita tries for the power drive knee, but that gets blocked. Hitting Takeshita with a power slam, getting Archer with the big spine buster for the win for his team. In post-match, we get a little try at an attack from Takeshita, but Hobbs catches the title attack. It's a big powerbomb on Takeshita, and while Takeshita's out laying, we see Hobbs pick up the international title, stands over Takeshita with him holding the title over him. So, yeah, nice, interesting way to finish up Rampage and, finish up this crazy week of wrestling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Coming tomorrow is going to be my review of Saturday night's main event. And while I did have this penciled in for Thursday, I think I'm going to put it up on Wednesday. It's going to be my end of year awards, where I, pretty much pick and choose who / what, pick out my favorite match of the year, wrestler of the year, MVP, etc., etc. Should be a good one. Hopefully you guys tune in for those. Then Friday and Monday I'll be covering this past week in wrestling. And then after that I am going to go on break for the holidays. Hopefully you guys understand. Should be back following New Year's Day, where I got a very interesting video coming. Hopefully you guys check that out. Till next time, happy wrestling everybody. Peace.